Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped.com. See the podcast description for a special money off code. Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast, smack bang here in the middle of an international break. I am Sam, delighted to say, back with me this week, it's Matt.
Hey mate, yeah, international breaks aren't good, are they, for conversation starters sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, you have got to kind of search for it, but the best thing about being a Spurs podcast, we're never far away from something to talk about with Tottenham Hotspur.
No, of course, yeah.
I laid out a kind of few bullet points for this week. I was like, there hasn't been a game really, what do we do, where do we go, and I was to do a couple of quick searches, and I was like, there's plenty there.
Yeah,
There's stuff for us to get stuck into. Obviously, last week was 150, this week is 151, the episodes, and there's a few things I talked about last week I wanted to talk to you about, because you're the guy I normally talk about stuff. It's weird.
Okay.
It's like, Stefan doesn't always say the right things. I feel like I've got to slap the guy. Yeah, he's like, Stefan, what do you think about that? No, well, I disagree. Well, You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's
Come
not
on.
what you meant to say.
Yeah, you're supposed to say you're right. It's like he doesn't read the scripts I send him.
No,
it's
no.
really annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the things that got mentioned last week, and I want to bring up with you, is actually, I love your opinion, because we've had 2 games with Antonio in charge now. One was obviously like a day after he took his first training session, or like he took one of the 3, and we were playing that in the European Conference League, and then we had the game against Everton. And what I said on the show last week is, one of the things that's really encouraged me is that, whereas with Nuno, we were like so many games in and I just couldn't see what we were trying to do. Couldn't see a system, couldn't see a style of play. We're 2 games in where he's had next to no time with the team, and yet I could already see a kind of a clear game plan, a clear way of playing, and it's just going to be a case of the players working it, getting more into it, him developing the players. And I was really quite buoyed by that. The Conference League game, we scored those 3 goals early, but then conceded and looked a bit ropey, so it was kind of, dare I use the word Spursy in that effect. But then the Everton game 0-0, it's kind of like, well, has it been the big bounce of a new manager? But to me, I came away feeling quite positive because of what I've seen. I put out to Stefan last week. I'd love to put it to you to see whether it's just me seeing things, because I did get a few emails in from people who think that I'm just being overly enthusiastic about the new manager and it's not really there. So yes, Matt, I put it to you, good sir. What do you think?
I don't understand. I don't understand. So this is my point of view, right?
Yeah.
Now, Conte, so people can say, okay, when Mourinho joined Spurs, he was a serial winner. We was bound to win things, and it didn't happen. So why now suddenly we've got Conte coming in, who's a serial winner? Why should that be any different with Mourinho? But
okay, yeah.
I think that the big difference with Conte to Mourinho is that Conte is like the serial winner element from Mourinho, but the player coaching element from Pochettino. We've got the best of those 2 managers. Yeah. And this, do you know what? I was trying to look up some players that over the years, over Conte's management career, players that he's just got the absolute best out of.
Yeah.
Now, the one that always comes to mind is Victor Moses for me.
Yep, yeah, right? That's the one that comes to my mind as well.
Yeah, he won the title, and Victor Moses was just absolutely, getting lauded, wasn't he? Like, suddenly they've got this world-class player like Victor Moses, who no one, and ever since Conte went, have we heard of him since? And there's so many players like that, and I was having a look through, and another interesting one, Paul Pogba, at Juve, Paul Pogba. Look! How much did Man United pay for him when they signed him back from Juventus?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So you've got Paul Pogba, you've got Matteo Darmian, Manchester United a player who was the defender who wasn't really getting anywhere in Man United, was he? Goes to Inter, Conte, suddenly they win the title with him in defence.
Yeah.
Another good one, David Luiz. I mean, that's that season when they won the title with Chelsea, when he played the back three with who was it? Was it Aspiclo? I can never pronounce his name.
Aspilicueta.
Yeah, and Cahill.
Yeah.
Like David Luiz was like it was like, oh my God, you could have paid 100 million for him. He's that good, you know?
Yeah.
He turns these players, these like kind of, I wouldn't say average players, good players.
Yeah.
He makes them. He almost turns them like into like world class players, you know.
Well, and certainly look world class in his system.
Yeah, that's the thing. So.
Yeah.
I get like, so again, I hate to kind of always refer to my dad when I have a conversation with my dad, but people who listen to the podcast know that if I want a negative opinion about Spurs, phone my dad up, right? So my dad, I spoke to my dad a couple of days ago, and he said, "Oh, I bet you're dreading the Leeds game on Sunday." I'm like, "Why?" And he went, "Oh, we've been awful," and I'm like thinking, hang on a second, right? We've changed our manager. I get it. I get it that it's still the same group of players. Right? I think that's what some people are seeing. But and I appreciate that it's early days. So the crazy game you mentioned, the European game. I mean, he had such little time to work with the team. Even with the Everton game, to be fair. But I genuinely feel nothing but positivity and confidence in where we're going to go. I genuinely, I mean, you look at Newcastle when they had that takeover by those guys, the Arab guys.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Why weren't we jumping out and outside the new stadium? Because I genuinely feel like this is gonna. He's going to turn it around. This guy knows what to do. We've got Pochettino and Mourinho. We've got the best of the two in one manager. Just wait and see, guys. Honestly, wait and see.
I think, I'm on board with you. I mean, it's very early. The thing I'd say to sort of caveat it a little bit, and I think you'll know what I mean. It's not wanting to be negative in a way, but I do think Tottenham fans are very worn down. I'm not talking about the ones that are just happy to be miserable, because those people will just be miserable no matter what happens. So, like win the quadruple. Yeah, but we conceded that goal. Shut up. Go the whole league season, win every single game. Yeah. Oh, but we could have scored more. You know the ones I mean. Yeah. I'm talking about the ones who I think are genuinely like me and you, but are just like tired. I know this sounds like a really odd thing to say, but under Daniel Levy's stewardship, ENIC and everything like that, think about the amount of managers we've gone through. The definition false dawn, I think, literally has a Tottenham fan next to it in the dictionary with like his thumbs up going, next season, yay! Yeah. And I think perhaps people are just worn down. So it's like, Pochettino, no one expected that. Do you know what I mean? It's like Pochettino came in, it was like a guy from Southampton, they play all right. First season, I suppose we're looking a little bit better. Second season, bloody hell, where did that come from? Third season, oh my God, we're good. And it just like shocked everyone. It was wonderful, great ride. I think when you've got expectation, like with Mourinho, and then it just falls flat, I think everyone's just kind of feeling flat, and it's going to take a little while for everyone to kind of get that back. That's my thinking anyway. I mean, I could be wrong. We could just be surrounded by miserable bastards forever. But for me, it just feels like some people aren't negative and miserable by nature, but just right now they're kind of like, oh, I've seen this before. I don't want to get excited because I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. But I said this a couple of weeks ago. When have we seen this before? When have we had a manager since Bill Nicholson, who's in his absolute prime? And I know people might think, oh, Mourinho, but I don't think Mourinho's anywhere near his. Like, the guy, if he was in his prime, he wouldn't be going to Roma as his next club. Do you know what I mean?
Looking like he could be on his way out of Roma any minute. Yeah,
exactly.
He typically gets to season 3, goes mental, and gets sacked. With us, it was season 2. It would appear with Roma at season 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So the guy's not in his prime. So since Bill Nicholson, when have we had a manager? A true world-class serial trophy winning manager, literally, like this guy, literally Conte, genuinely could go to any club in the world, like Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. These clubs would take him in a heartbeat, and we've got him somehow. Right, we've got him. Right? So this is what I'm saying. I get I get. I mean, me and you have been Spurs fans for a long, long time, so I get the false dawns, I get the kind of the hope. It's the hope that kills you. But this surely is like a unique situation we've got here. Like, just look at the guy in training. Look at him in training. The guy's like, he lives and breathes it. I mean, he's Italian, which is a good thing to start with, because I've known a few Italians in my life, and they are passionate people, you know.
They are,
and you can see it in the training. But it's just like, you know, for example, with David Luiz, there was a quote about him, because I was trying to read up some players that are that really improved under him, and I think it was Garth Crooks. Apparently, when they first signed him, he just completely ripped into the signing, and he actually came out on his show and apologised. And he said you could see with David Luiz, you can see how much it meant to him to keep a clean sheet. It's like, do you remember when that little clip of an interview of Conte talking to Thierry Henry about saying that he would rather kill a player if a player doesn't put effort in, he'd rather kill him, right? Yeah. And it's that absolute passion and mentality that he instills into the players. He's got these players that are playing for Spurs are professional players that have gone through the whole setup from when they were kids to when they are now. They are professional football players who know no more than the life around football. Now you're bringing a manager in that's going to change their mentality, who's proven to change the mentality in a very, very positive way, to almost give them that mentality of, like, you know, with Dyer, for example. I hate the way he gets slagged off, but I'd love it. I'd love to think that Dyer, like David Luiz, would be one of these centre backs that's like, I would rather. Do you know what I mean? I would literally break my neck than you conceding a goal against us. That's what he's going to instill into us.
I think Eric Dyer is a player who's like that anyway.
Yeah.
And he just kind of needs. I don't know. It's one of those strange things, because Mourinho obviously backed Dyer, and it started great and then tapered off. But I think one of the things that fans, Tottenham fans, when it comes to Eric Dyer, and it comes to our defenders in general, that they just don't seem to have cottoned on to in the last few years, is Toby and Jan were phenomenal. You know, we had that back four. Those two were phenomenal. But I think I've kind of hinted this before. We kept possession a million times better then than we do now. And also, the whole team pressed from the front. Eriksen and Kane, for example, and Dele at that point were among the highest meters covered in every game. They literally covered every blade of grass and just absolutely put themselves about non-stop, which meant that a lot of the time teams resorted to like long balls into our box. You know, Toby and Jan. I mean, that was their bread and butter. No way, sure. easy. Whereas since then, and everyone who watches knows we've declined. The pressing has stopped. Everything stopped under Pochettino towards the end because we needed to refresh the team, and we didn't. Jose, no, don't worry about that. You know, we'll defend deep. We just invite pressure. So if you're in a game and you've got two central defenders who have faced 3 attacks in the whole game, and there's a clean sheet, everyone thinks they're the best defenders in the world. And then you've got Dyer and the Sanchez, etc., who are facing relentless wave after wave after wave, and they concede a couple of goals. Defenders are shite. Well, hang on. They dealt with all of 2 attacks and were protected, but they're amazing. These guys, they're the reason we didn't lose 10-0. You know, yeah, we lost 2, but geez, the amount of attacks and shots they had to deal with, and just wave after wave, it's no wonder eventually it cracks, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And also errors. People keep pointing out, like, oh, you know, Dyer misplaced this, misplaced that. Well, yeah, you know, when you're under that amount of pressure, errors will happen. And I think one of the things that everyone needs to... It's difficult because there are certain players in that squad. I'll give you an example, and I hate doing this, picking on people. But Matt Doherty, to me, when we signed him, I thought everything about that signing made sense. Tall, great height, great physical presence in the box, both attacking and defensively. Got good pace, good engine, getting up and down the line. Seemed like a perfect attacking right back signing. Let's face it, it has not worked with us at all, and I have not seen him have a good game. To me, he's like, remember when we first signed Sissoko, and it was just like, wow, this is not good.
Yeah, sure.
How do you know? To me, it's like that, but that doesn't mean it can't change. It doesn't mean that a new coach coming in going, right, this is your role. This is what I expect of you. If you do that week in, week out, you will improve, you will get better. And all of a sudden he's lifted, all of a sudden the performance is lifted, and all of us could just be looking at that going, wow, who the hell's that guy? Has he got a twin? This is nuts. So yeah, I am in this positive frame of mind where it's like a clean slate for everybody. And I know I kind of said this when Nuno came in, and I think I say this anytime there is a new manager, really, which is that whole squad now has an opportunity to go, I am still a good football player and I can make an impact. And what I hope is that the fans can draw the line themselves, because if, for example, we go out and play and Dyer mishits a pass, or, there's an error, and people just immediately, it's the same old, we got to just stop that. It's just got to be right. This is clean slate, this is brand new, let's give Conte a chance with the players, with the squad. And he's not shy about telling people, do you know what, you're not up to this, you're gone. And he's also not shy about turning around to owners and chairmen and saying, unless this is done, I'll stand in front of the cameras at 3 o'clock and tell them you're an ass. Which is something Levy would hate. You think about Levy's relationship with managers. I mean, you imagine, and he's got it about him, and when Levy hired him, he'd have known it. He is the sort of guy, because how passionate he is, like you said, he will not hold back if he thinks that he's being sold up the garden path. Pochettino held his tongue like an absolute pro, and I will respect him forever for what he did for this football club. Conte's come here to win stuff and improve his CV and improve this club. Don't get me wrong, I think he cares, but it's him. He's thinking about, I've come here, and if I turn Tottenham into winners, wow, my reputation's going to go, whoa! Exactly. And I can basically pick any job I want forever. And he will have that in him, and he's got that fire to do it. He knows what he wants to do. And I think if anyone gets in his way of doing that, he's not going to be shy about calling them out.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. When Mourinho took over, me and you did that podcast, and it was that kind of, I feel like we've sold our soul here to get some trophies.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit dirty. Whereas with Conte, he's got the same reputation when it comes to winning trophies, but he's going to do it in a much better way. He's going to improve these players. It's no like this is not me hoping that he's going to improve our players. He will improve our players. He'll make players like Doherty, for example, I know you picked up Doherty as an example. Now you think when he played for Wolves, what position did he play best in? What was the reason?
He was a wing back.
Yeah, and what formation does Conte play in? He plays that two wing back. So you can imagine if he works on him, gets him to the kind of level he was at Wolves, and better. I mean, because I think it's from what we experienced with Nuno, as much as he done okay at Wolves, I don't think he really improved our players. So
no, I don't think so.
The evidence is there. The evidence is there that Conte will improve our players. And I gave you some examples at the beginning of the show. These are players that I guarantee that under Conte will be like, wow, this guy is immense.
Do you feel? I mean, I have confidence in him based on his track record. And like you've said, I can point to players at every club. I mean, Ashley Young at Inter Milan. I mean, what the hell's that about? The guy was phenomenal. So I can point to players constantly. I mean, Romelu Lukaku, I think, had his best ever season under Conte.
That's right. Yeah.
So we can go through it, we can look at these players, and we can definitely identify stuff. Do you feel, given that, if we get to the summer, and I think it's the summer, I don't think January's fair, because it's right next, but we get to the summer, and some of the players, like I've mentioned Matt Doherty, for example, Harry Winks could be another one, aren't still stepping up. Do you think it's fair at that point for us to go, you were good under, Winks, for example, good under Pochettino, confidence clearly destroyed under Mourinho, and if Conte's not been able to get a tune out of you, it is time for you to move on.
Yeah, because I think then it points to their attitude, doesn't it? Because I think this is the thing that we're gonna see a test of over the next few months until the summer, is the players' attitudes, because clearly, Conte, if the players are on board. Someone like Kane, I guarantee, people are going, oh, look at Kane, he scored 7 goals for England, he's only scored 1 all season for us. I guarantee you now, cast iron guarantee. Take away. No, this because this is Sam. This is not me just kind of hoping and thinking. Under Conte, he is going to thrive because that guy. He thrives. So much of what Kane is about is his attitude, and that desire. He's proven his whole career. He's got this immense desire to win. I mean, look. He's like 4 goals away from being England's highest ever goal scorer and doing it in almost half the games that Rooney did it in. This guy is driven. So he now is under a manager who says things like, "I would rather kill a player than." So he's. It's an absolute match made in heaven. These two,
How do you? How I feel about Kane's well documented. You don't need me to go down that road again. But how do you feel about? Because you've watched it live. So like me, you've watched him saunter around under Nuno, and it's frustrating as hell. Do you feel that? Because I watched him against in the Europa Conference League. And there's a stat that he put in more sprints in the first half of that game than he had under the previous however many under Nuno, just in that one half.
Yeah.
Do you feel that with Kane, for example, he kind of got forced to stay at the club and he was just not inspired at all?
No, that's
Nuno. Like absolutely, this is crap. I wanted to leave because I felt the club weren't showing any ambition. The club said, no, stay. We are ambitious, and then you've appointed this guy
from Wolves. Yeah,
and he just felt, didn't engage, didn't get on with it. Loads of rumours, and to a certain extent on social media, some evidence that players and him were at odds. And then Antonio Conte's come in. I know Kane hired a PR team, but I've actually seen him do a few things the last couple of days where he's talked about. There was a charity thing. Let's say a charity thing. There's wear football shirts this Friday. I can't think it's for the Bobby Moore Fund, or I apologize, I'm probably getting that completely wrong. But he's promoting it. And he's part of. He's like an ambassador for it. And there's a fan who's been diagnosed with bowel cancer, and they arranged for Harry Kane to do a Skype call with him, which the guy didn't know. And Kane gets on the call, and the guy's wearing a Tottenham shirt. And so Kane says, I was going to ask you what team you support, but obviously, that answers that. And Kane immediately just went, we've not been that good, because the guy said he'd been to the Man United game. He said, yeah, we weren't good that day or anything. But we got this new, immediately his whole body language changed. Oh, but we got a new manager in now. We're really going to pick it up. We're going to get better.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and I said this on the show last week, and obviously I'd love to put it to you now. Don't you think that the fact that not one player said anything on social media about Nuno going is deafeningly telling?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, they've not explicitly said anything like negative about Nuno. It's just it's almost like when you leave a company and you start a new job, and then you need a reference. You can't put anything bad in the reference, but you can miss things out, and by missing things out, it's kind of a hint that and it's the same with
I've written some incredible references where I've said a lot with saying nothing.
Exactly, and it's the same. Look, this is it, isn't it? We've encapsulated it really. You've got a manager that was hired, Nuno, who was like the 5th, 6th, 7th choice, or whatever it was, maybe the 20th choice if some people. But it was as much as I wanted to get behind it, I did, and I think it's because it's so ingrained in me that no matter who we've got at the club, whoever's there, I just want to support the club. I don't want to feel negative. I want to just. I'm a supporter. Like, I want to support the club. I'm a season ticket holder. I go to the games. I just want to be there supporting them, win or lose, But now you look at it. Now the fact he's gone and we've got Conte in. It was so uninspiring. It was really uninspiring. Yeah. And I used to get really upset when people used to say, "Oh, look at Nuno. He just stands there licking his lips." And I'm like, does it matter? Is it really that important? But thinking back, he must have.
I think it is.
Yeah, and thinking back, like. I don't want to kind of assume anything, but you can almost imagine him sort of standing there in that technical area, just licking his lips, thinking, I am so out of my freaking depth here. This is just, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, not I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, this is just too
No
much.
one's listening.
This is
No
all,
one
this
cares.
is all too much. Like I had a young group of players in the old championship. You know, it's a lot lower level. I could get them inspired, but this just feels like it's above my pay grade. You know, and you can imagine just sort of standing there thinking, all his mouth getting dry because he's like, I just don't understand what you know how I've ended up here. You know, and it's quite clear that it was never going to work, and that's what I'm saying. You've got a manager in who's won numerous trophies, league titles, wherever he's gone, whatever league he's in. This guy, like, I love. Do you know what? I on my Facebook feed, I get a video like you probably see, like videos of the training, and I just freaking love watching the ones at Conte. This guy, he's like he's screaming at them like they're playing in the Champions League final. They're on the training pitch. So if he's getting that to them in training, can you imagine what it's going to be like when we're like once he's settled at the club and we're playing a few games and he's got that attitude, that never say it.
I mean,
it's so exciting, and I can see why.
You can see a difference at the sideline straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, even that Europa Conference League, the guy was kicking every ball, heading every ball against Everton again. And I think, you know, are you going to the Leeds game?
Yeah, I'm 100% going. I cannot wait.
I was going to say, you get an opportunity, just have a quick look over. I bet you'll see he ain't licking his lips and just stood there with his arms folded. I think that guy is... the thing about that is, I think as players, you know, it kind of... When the guy's that and he's kicking every ball and he's living every moment with you, you're kind of more, I don't know, motivated. I don't know if that's the right word, but you are kind of more into, you know, you're almost, I got to be on my game here because I know he's watching everything. You know, he is dialed in.
Yeah.
If I so much as miscontrol it, I know if I glance to the bench, he's looking at me. You know, and there is that element, and it's a kind of pressure, but I think for professional sportsmen, that's what you want.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the thing, Sam. Like, so that's why I'm saying Kane and Conte, I think, are an absolute match made in heaven, because Kane needs a manager that wants the best from him, wants that do or die attitude. He wants that, because Kane, you can tell that Kane just wants to win some freaking trophies, right? He wants to win trophies. I do not blame him. The guy is so driven. And now I think, look, this is it now for us. This is it. Like, you know, I think that he's at this. We've got Conte now at this club. There is no other manager in the world, I don't think, that can inspire us to finally reach what came and you know, where we want us to be than Conte. I think we've got this manager in now, and I genuinely, Sam, I'm not like, I'm not kind of. I know people thinking, oh, you know, it's same old, you know, you watch the same old Spurs, and I don't think it's the case with Conte. I don't think it. I think, like I say, I feel like we've got the best. It's almost like someone's gone into a lab and they've got the best of Pochettino, the best of Mourinho, and they've put them in and taken the rubbish stuff out. Like for example, taking out the ego from. I know Conte's got an ego, but that kind of ego from Mourinho, and also that taking out the kind of not wanting to speak up element of Pochettino. You know, like you said earlier, you know, they're taking the bad bits out of them, got all the good bits in, mixed it in, and here we go. We've got a guy here who's from Italy as well, which helps. They've added that in because he's got to be Italian.
Got to be Italian.
Yeah, and so that is it. We've got the passion, we've got the experience, we've got the winning mentality, we've got the track record. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I genuinely, I feel more excited than I can imagine most Newcastle fans thought when they found out that guy was like. I feel like this is going to be our time. The next 2 or 3 years is going to be our time.
Passionate, my friend. I love that.
It is. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the next few years.
One of the things that he's done straight away, and it's been a major talking point and memes and fun, is he's gone in and banned ketchup. But it's more than that. That was just like the silly press headlines. But he has completely changed the menu at the club. The players are eating. He's gone in hard on all of them. My thoughts are with Tanguy at this difficult time, of course. But it's interesting to me, stuff like that, because the last manager who came into Tottenham and did that, do you remember who it was?
Christian Gross, yeah?
No, No, not that
Go
guy.
on, mate.
Oh God. The guy who replaced Martin Yol.
Oh, Ramos,
and
one day Ramos.
Yeah, and won us a League Cup.
Mm.
He came in and banned all this stuff and changed the nutrition of the players. And within however many months, the players hated him for it, and it didn't work. The game has changed. It's funny because it's almost like you look at that guy and go, he was probably ahead of his time for English football a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Wenger, completely transformed Arsenal with stuff like that, and in turn transformed the way professional football was played, really, in the Premier League. And you got a guy like Jose kind of comes in and kind of deems all that as standard, and but then you get to now, I think players are far more used to being micromanaged in every aspect of their lives. This is why a guy like Jose isn't doing as well anymore. Whereas a guy like Antonio, who will literally everything is managed, every detail of every day is managed. One insider thing which I thought was hilarious. Do you remember the documentary and Jose and the physios and the medical team basically Sonny's broke his arm, so can he play?
Yeah,
The physio was like, no, you jackass. Apparently, one of very early on, he had a full-on meeting with the whole physio team, all the doctors and everything like that. There is a sports scientist there now, which of course Jose didn't have, and the club reinstilled basically let's try and catch up again. And Antonio sat down with all of them, and apparently he did this meeting which was basically around, I need to know if we've got players in the red. The whole idea of having a squad is I should never have a player break down on me. Obviously injuries happen, collisions, stuff like that. But if a player ever goes off because he's pulled this, ripped that muscle or anything like that, we should have known it. So you tell me what you need, what access, what data, and let's work to make sure that never happens. I don't care which player it is. You turn around to me and say, this guy, there's a risk. We do something different.
Yeah.
It's an interesting attitude. It's an interesting way of looking at it. It's because I believe it as well. I believe that in his mind, he wants it's a whole season with countless games and everything like that. It is a more modern take on players and welfare and coaching. And it is, as he points out, it is a squad game. Football, you can have your best 11 in the squad, but you need players who can come in and out of that 11, because otherwise you're going to run them into the ground and you're going to shorten their careers.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, he gets that. He absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. That's why, people argue, we brought Mourinho in, and so why is it going to be any different now bringing someone that's got, he's got a track record as well, so what, but it's for me, it's like comparing apples and pears, I think, with these two. It really is.
Yeah.
I love as well, what I absolutely love is the fact that he's brought Ryan Mason into the coaching setup as well.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because those two have got a connection anyway, because as probably most people listening know, he had that head injury when they were playing Chelsea, when he was playing for Hull, I think it was, wasn't it? And Conte visited him in hospital, so they actually know each other,
Yeah.
And he's brought him in, and again, this is, as probably most of us do, we can only imagine what happens behind the scenes with the training and stuff, but I can well imagine at one point Conte sitting the players down and showing them a little reel of Mason's time at Spurs, because this guy is a massive Spurs fan, as it's all proved, and he scored a few goals for us, and when you watch him score for us, at the old White Lane, the intensity of how much that's buzzing. So here we go, look, I've put someone who's Spurs through and through in my coaching setup, who gets what gets the passion, feels what every one of the 60,000 guys in the stadium and everyone who's watching feels as a Spurs fan. We're in this together. We want this together. It's such a mentality thing for Conte, and you can even in his short time. I mean, I never, before he joined us, I didn't really. I know, obviously knew of him, and knew of his track record, but there wasn't much else to it because I wasn't interested. I'm not going to start watching. I'm not going to go onto Inter Milan's social media feed or Chelsea. So I didn't see. Now he's here, and I'm seeing this. I'm just blown away day after day. Every time I see something, I'm like, this guy, he's like, it gets the tingles going in me every time, you know.
Well, I
Like
can
no
tell,
other
man.
manager.
Yeah, you are infused.
I am, but aren't you feeling that, Sam? Aren't you feeling that from what you've seen and what you've heard?
I am, and that was how we started the show. I was like, we are 2 games in. He's had next to no time, and already I'm seeing real development in players structurally, the way we play. You can see a style. I'm genuinely shocked by that, and kind of in a really good way.
But what? But now you've seen him. Why are you shocked though,
develop.
Sam? Now you see the guy. Does it make you less shocked?
I think see, this is the thing. I'm shocked because of recent history. I'm shocked because I've watched this squad have no identity for quite some time. So to see them adapt this quickly to a coach, you're kind of like, how good is this guy?
Yeah. Well, he's won 7 league titles in like 9 seasons. He's that good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but some of them were with Juventus in Italy. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. Come on. No, I'm joking. But yeah, no, I love it, and I don't know. I'm going to sound like one of those irritating people now, where it's like, I just want to watch the Leeds game. Do you know what I mean? I want to see what's next. I want to see what the next part
exciting.
It is exciting. Now, speaking of being excited, though, because I think this is important, we need to talk about balls.
Okay.
And we need to get excited about balls and ball health. This show is sponsored by Manscaped.com. And every week, especially in the run up to Christmas, Manscaped have got some incredible offers on their website, especially for the Black Friday deals. I know that's more big in America, but it's global. And also, if you're listening in America, you can buy using our code. Our code is global. Where Manscaped deliver, our code works. But yeah, Matt, time to talk balls.
So anyone that's got a Facebook account, especially over the last few years, must have seen the meme that says, brace yourselves, winter is coming. Now, we all must have seen that one. And to be honest, now it is getting cold. We have to brace ourselves because winter is coming. But what the writers of Game of Thrones didn't want to tell you is that Bran was actually in a wheelchair because he didn't trim his balls with Manscaped. Poor guy thought it was okay to trim his balls with a traditional razor or hair trimmer. Not sure what you want us to gift for the holidays? Well, Manscaped is the ultimate gift, and they're here to change the men's grooming game. And you can get 20% off plus free shipping if you use the code SNPOD. So SN for Spurs News, SNPOD at manscaped.com.
Yeah, so, it's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about the Manscaped.com Perfect Package 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 is the best in the business. This hygiene bundle includes the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, Boxers, Travel Kit, and Liquid Formulations. I don't know about you, Matt, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, what more do you need for your balls, to be honest with you?
Yeah. See, for anyone listening, they've given us scripts now. I didn't just make that up, but that sounds great. Don't you find with like adverts and stuff when you listen to it, they make it sound amazing?
Yeah.
The next one.
Go on.
Sorry, the new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof with advanced skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts, and even has a light to help with the close shave down there. No need to have a red wedding situation next time you're going for a trim. Now, that's a worrying thing to add on. I do like the idea of there being a light on there, though. That's, that's helpful. That's technology being put to good use.
Yeah, I've got to admit, Sam. I'm in my 40s now, and my eyesight's not too great. So I'll stick the bathroom light on, and it's still not enough. So I honestly, that light is a godsend for kind of avoiding the nicks, so to say.
Yeah, because that's not an area you want to be doing that either. It's an area that's only meant to be treated nicely.
It's like playing that. Do you remember that game Operation, or the board game? Sometimes I feel like I'm playing that when I'm doing.
Dude, did you just compare the kids' game Operation to shaving your pubic region?
I did, because
you had a very different version of that game.
It's the precarious nature of it, Sam.
Yeah, it was taking the bone out. That was all. Oh, I see what you did. Yeah. The Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer can help you whack those nasty weeds in your delicate holes. I can't believe I just read that out. This product also has proprietary skin-safe technology to help prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. Again, I can't believe I read that out in this context. I don't know where to go with that. Yeah, so do you want to smell good absolutely everywhere? The Refined Cologne by Manscaped is a clean, fresh scent designed for the refined gentleman. On top of everything, you've been through a shed travel bag to carry all your goods and a Manscaped.com anti-chafing boxer briefs to hold your entire package together. It says the entire package, but I changed it to your entire package because I thought that was funnier. But anyway, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code SNPOD. I will say that again, 20% off plus free shipping with the code S for sugar, N for November, POD, pod. So yeah, during the winter, especially with the Black Friday sales and everything coming up, you can use our code in conjunction, people. Get on there, get buy-in. Because the more you buy, the more they like us and the longer they'll sponsor us. It's completely self-serving, 100% in my vested interest, so please do it. Yeah, there you go. That was nice, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, so that's enough for balls. It's now time... Is it good that I segue from talking about balls to talking about the fan questions? Are people going to get offended?
No, it's how you interpret the word balls, Sam.
Yeah. So from balls to bollocks. No, I'm joking. It's time for the fan questions.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
We're starting with the good ship Instagram. The lovely Laura runs... I say lovely Laura, she called me 50.
Yeah, that's not fair, is it really?
No, that was very hurtful. I turned 39 in January, and someone said to me the other day, "Oh, nearly 40. How you feeling?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, that's fine." It's like, "Oh, is that not freak out age? Oh, did you freak out when you were 30?" I was like, "No, I actually had my freak out at 25." And everyone kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Look, 25, quarter of a century." I was like, "That's if I live to be 100, which I likely won't." That's literally a quarter of my life gone. Everyone was sat there and went, "Oh my god, that's yeah. Why didn't I freak out at 25?" So that's why I just got drunk. I don't remember 25 at all.
When you get to our age, mate, it's a case of thinking, I'm glad I made it this far so far. That's how I'm thinking. You know,
that's a great.
That's how you got to look at it. Think of the positives.
I'll celebrate it that way. I'm here. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm still here. Look, you know,
and then look at the sky. Go, it wasn't a challenge. First up is the Johnny Stark. Of all of the January transfer rumours, which one do you hope is true? As an American, I think it'd be cool if Weston McKennie joined the club. I think he's at Juventus at the moment, Weston McKennie. But we got linked with him last summer. The thing I'd say, Johnny, is at the moment we're basically being linked with the entirety of Serie A, which is the Italian top flight. And the main reason being is Paratici and Conte. So, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are a couple of players there that we definitely do hold interest in, but it's going to be a bit difficult to discern the fact from the fiction with it at the moment. I'm aware that we actually do plan to do business in January, which is very un-Tottenham. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, everything coming out appears to be that, we are going to be active. There is stuff we need to do. And, we were active in the summer. Obviously, Nuno was in charge then, but Paratici was the one leading the recruitment. Our structure now very much is that we're trying to squad build regardless of the coach, if that makes sense, like the identity of the club. I think Conte will have a much bigger impact. Him and Paratici worked together before. Yeah. I think those two will be talking constantly. Both absolute workaholics. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, there was a very funny article released, and I did do a post about it because I just thought a lot of people could share my hilarity. So basically, the Daily Mail, which is not a... I actually wrote a very well-researched article from the Daily Mail, and a few people were like, no, oxymoron. Don't believe that. And I was like, well, the reason why I pointed out it was a very well-researched article is because I didn't believe it at first, where it came from. But it was done by Liverpool University. So basically, it was looking into the finances of all the clubs based on all the accounting information and then doing a chart to the FIFA current rules, UEFA current rules around financial fair play, and did a calculation based on all of the information available, so it is accurate, absolutely up to date, of how much clubs can spend currently without breaking the FIFA fair play rules. Now, obviously, this isn't this is how much money the clubs have got to spend. It is literally how much they could spend without breaking the rules. And shockingly for Everton fans, it was proven that they need to sell. They are minus 30 million. They are literally, if they do not end this season without correcting that, they are going to face a penalty over it. What is even more shocking for Tottenham fans, I think, is that with all of our new revenues and everything now in place, we can actually spend up to £400 million in the January transfer window and not break any rules.
We're the highest in the
by some margin. I think Liverpool and a couple of the others behind us were around 250, and they're the nearest to us.
That's mad, isn't it?
It is absolutely bonkers. I mean, anyone who's been to the stadium and seen the prices of things shouldn't be shocked.
Do you know what? Yeah. It's actually more reasonable than you think at the stadium, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of like, you always have the expectation when you go there.
I think the difference is I'm from Bristol.
All right.
So when I go into London, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How much? I only ordered one. How many people am I buying drinks for, man? So yeah, I think our perspectives are slightly different, because I think Stefan said the same thing to me. He's far more used to the pricing than I am.
Yeah.
Just makes me cry. But yeah, next up is hang on, it's someone with their own theme.
He's a man, such a man, such a man. He's a real man's man.
Welcome back. A question from the Mountain Man. Hello, my friend. Nice of you to climb down from the mountain to get some signal to give us a message. He says, "Hi guys, great 150th show. Especially love the kids section." Yeah, thank you. That was kind. Matt, did you see the comment on the Facebook page about kids talk?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, someone basically said you can tell that's Sam's daughter. Hey, say hello, Phoebe, and hello, Phoebe. It's like, basically, yeah, she's a sarky little git. Yeah. My question to you both is, what are your predictions for final league position? Right, we'll do these bits. What's your prediction for final league position this year, mate?
4th.
Okay. I've gone 5th, sorry. What are your prediction for Kane's total league goals at the end of the season? Obviously he's on 1 currently.
28.
What?
Listen, he scored 7 in the last 2 games. He's lost 2 England games.
For England, and Sam... Right, hang on, I'm writing this down. Kane, 28. That's what Matt says.
Mm-hmm.
Matt.
You watch. You just watch. You watch. This guy's going to be on fire this season.
Okay, I'm going to do a deal with you.
Go on.
If Kane has got 28 league goals or more by the end of this season, when we finally get to go out, you don't have to buy a drink all night. I'll buy everything you want for the entire night.
Can we caveat it though? Can there be like an amount of time? Like, so obviously injuries might make a difference. If it needs to be injured.
No. But if we don't get the 28, when we go out, you got to wear the clothes of my choice.
Can I tell you a quick funny story about drinking? It was Vicky's birthday last week, so she come and met me for lunch, and we went to a place called the German Gymnasium. Have you ever heard of it? No. I think it's just one in King's Cross. It's like, I think it's called the German Gymnasium because it used to be like a boxing gymnasium.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, she come and met me for like brunch, so it's like about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Very nice.
And because it was her birthday, she wanted to have like an alcoholic drink, but obviously nothing too strong. So it was a very, very posh place. So we're in this restaurant and they give us a drinks menu and you're like, oh my God, I don't recognise any of this stuff. And we found a section called light and free. So we thought, oh, that must be where the sort of the lighter or the alcohol-free beers are. So
Yeah.
she's picked one from there. And a couple of minutes later, the waiter's come along and he said, just sorry to bother you, madam. He said, but would you like a mixer with your tequila that you've ordered? And she was like, I've ordered tequila.
what?
It's like,
Yeah.
she was like, I'm so glad you told me that. Because she said, I would have drunk it, but
Yeah.
it really is too early in the morning to be doing shots of tequila.
Yeah, it is. Oh wow!
So yeah,
Fair play to the waiter as well.
Yeah.
Like, saw the order, saw the time of day, and went, "I'm gonna check. I'm just gonna ask the question." I mean, don't get me wrong. We could be serving some hardcore individuals right now, but they look like a nice couple having a nice brunch. Let me double check. She really wants to be nailing the tequila shots. Oh man, I love that. That's great. Very happy birthday to your lovely wife as well.
yeah. She
And the last one he asked. Oh, by the way, I said Kane. I reckon he'll get 15 league goals.
15.
I reckon across the cups he could barrel a fair few in, but I'm going to go 15 in the league.
Shall we hear about this, Sam? How about whoever gets closest? So if
Yeah.
what's the cut off there? So what's
Well, you're on 28 for the league. I'm on 15.
we're looking
So
at
yeah,
13.
that's-
So
yeah. Okay,
so
all right.
half
Whoever
that,
gets
6,
closest.
22. So 22 and above, I win. 21 above, you win. Yeah, there we go.
21 and below,
Oh,
I win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heads I win, tails you lose.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other one is most improved player under Conte. Do we think this season?
Matt Doherty.
You're going to go Doherty.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Dyer.
Okay.
All right, I've written all these down. And at the end of the season wrap, we're going to revisit that
Okay.
and see how we feel.
Yep.
And then discuss the various forfeits for each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving over to Facebook, Liam Hickey asks, is it attitude or lack of service for Kane at Spurs, as his England performances were decent? It could actually be a combination of the two. I do think anyone who's watched him play for Tottenham this season can clearly see his heart's not been in it.
It's back in it now.
But it'd be interesting to see how he is now. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That won't even be an issue. Honestly, give it a month and it will be long forgotten how he played under Nuno.
All right, okay. It won't be
Trust
forgotten by
me,
but
trust
okay.
me, it will. Trust me. You are gonna see.
No,
the
I'm
Kane
still
of
very
old.
angry with him.
You won't.
Still,
The love will be
I
back.
don't-
You'll actually to the point where when we have this drink, you'll be like, look what I've got on my thigh, and there'll be a picture of Harry Kane on there. So
Do you know what's funny? Is I said this to Stefan just chatting, Stefan from. I said the thing is with Kane at the moment is every time I get to a place where I'm like, okay, I'm getting over it. I'm good. You know, I'm moving on. You know, he's still with the club. You know, I can understand why you want. You know, I'm sort of getting to that understanding. But he does another interview. I'm like, shut up, man. But anyway, okay. Tom Perks says, do you guys think we should give Højbjerg a rest for a couple of games, even if he is fit, to avoid long-term damage from that injury? It's an interesting point of view. The issue we've got for the Leeds game, of course, is I believe Skip's suspended. 5 yellow cards totting up. So you kind of ideally want at least one of them in the side. But at the moment, of course, until the injury news is revealed, we don't even know if Højbjerg's fit anyway. I mean, he...
yeah.
in an ideal world, of course, you know, like we said earlier on about Conte, I think in an ideal world, he'd definitely want to rest players where he can. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the news is because, bloody.
Romero's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, Romero. Yeah, Romero picked up an injury. Got no idea how bad that is. Sonny was okay, but there's still rumours that he's carrying an injury as well. So
I did see when you posted that on Facebook, someone put why it's only happened to Spurs, and I was thinking you're going to think that because you're a Spurs fan. So I was like, let's Google injuries to Premier League players in the last international break, and to a team, every team has had some kind of injury to a player. So it's not just us. So, you know.
No, of course not. It's that woe is me. Whoa. Matthew Fleming says, is the coming game against Leeds a great opportunity to the players who didn't play on the international stage to show what they've got? Spending the break with Conte should have given them a good opportunity to train and learn the Conte way. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, but the players...
Team selection's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, they're not going to have the same... This is a problem, though. As much as he's going to drive the attitude into them, they haven't got the ability that the players... which is why they are international players, you know? So
Yeah.
I get what he's saying, but I still feel like, you know, you can't go, right, okay, well, Dane Scarlett's been at the club for 2 weeks, and then let's play him instead of Kane. You know, I don't understand that mentality, you know?
Yeah, that's not going to happen because
No.
Dane was away as well.
Oh, he was away. Of course he was.
With England under 19.
He scored some goals, didn't he?
That kid is prolific at that level. Everyone's sort of watching. Oh, he hasn't scored yet. Give him chance, man.
Why does everything's so now all the time, isn't it?
I know. It's as bad as Laura in the bedroom on OnlyFans. Anyway, Michael Annis says, are games like England versus San Marino beneficial for international players or a pointless distraction? Now, this is a debate that's come up a lot, actually, because I watched the pundits like, San Marino shouldn't even be involved. It's ridiculous. They should have qualifiers to reach the qualifiers. Firstly, shut up.
Yeah.
Because for those San Marino players, they're all semi-professional, or I don't even think I think they're amateur.
Postmen and things like that.
And they had the opportunity to be on the same field with wonderful football players like Harry Kane. There are defenders there. There's a goalkeeper there who saved the shot from Kane. He conceded 4, but that one he saved, he's going to dine out on that story for the next... You know, people love the FA Cup and the underdogs, and yet when it's San Marino international football, it's crap.
Yeah.
It's an absolute nonsense.
Yeah. Do you know what frustrates me as well is that people are going, oh, you know, Kane scored 7 goals, but 4 of them were against San Marino. But you look at players like Rooney and Lineker who are up there. They scored loads of goals against these teams. Why is it?
That annoyed me actually, because Gary Lineker said because Kane drew level with him. Lineker pointed out he didn't score that many penalties, and I'm like, you, the box tapping merchant, are having a pop at someone. Now the thing is Twitter's very hard to gauge, and I think perhaps it was just a silly tongue-in-cheek, joke. But sometimes you read stuff like that, and it's like, really, is that you cannot possibly think that. Well, I like to think that was a joke anyway, but no, I don't think it's a silly distraction. I think the benefit in games like that is professionalism. And the thing that England did in that game, which I've never seen England as a national team do before, is they were ruthless. Typically, I watch England go 3-4-0 up, and that's it. They just all shut off. And it doesn't matter how much the coach is jumping up and down, like, focus, stay focused. They're just like, that's good. You know, knock the ball around is fine. In this game, it was like every player wanted to score. Every player wanted to get, you know, right, we're at 6, let's get 7, let's get 8. You know, there was Kane scored a penalty, and then we won the ball back straight away from kickoff and nearly added another within seconds.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of attitude is what those games are about, because... Think about it from a Tottenham perspective all of a sudden. How many times have we gone goals up and just shut off? Yeah. And that has to change. I mean, it has to.
It will change, Sam. It will.
Yeah, I know. You're telling me. You're very emphatic. And last up, Kevin McPherson says, what will Conte ban next? I think that's a reference to the ketchup and the mayonnaise and everything being banned. I'd like to think he'll ban some of the haircuts, but that's just me showing my age. I genuinely, I don't know. I mean, I think this is a silly question for a jokey answer. What would you like to see Conte ban next?
Oh, God, it's putting me on the spot now, isn't it?
I liked it. It's fun. Oh, we've actually had one more question come in, by the way. So yeah, go on.
Come on, Sam. You're normally good at these, at thinking up things quickly.
Something to ban on the spot. All right, okay. He's going to ban Tanguy Ndombele from dancing in the changing rooms.
Okay.
He is definitely going to ban some of the aftershaves coming from Dele Alli. Oh, could you imagine if he banned video games? I think Dele would melt.
Yeah,
that guy loves his gaming. I'm sort of Sessegnon, by the way.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, obviously what's the word I'm looking for? So they're kind of like, he wants them driven, very, very driven,
Yeah,
and professional. But you've also got to balance it in somehow with their like for example with the games, because with the ketchup and the mayonnaise thing, for example, I know that there's been people out there saying, oh, you wait, in 3 or 4 months they're going to hate him for it, and that
yeah.
So I know that's a very silly example, but there are certain things where you think, or maybe with, like, for example, with the video games, I know we're thinking of jokey things, but you'd kind of like him to know they're going to have a bit of downtime, otherwise it will get to the point where they're going to think we're just in the army here. Do you know what I mean? Like we've joined the SAS.
Yep. The Conte troopers. Yeah. I think based on the way the guy seems with players, I think he's coming in and he's made these changes to try and make the point to them they need to be fitter and leaner. And I think people who get to that point will show massive improvements and enjoy that.
Yes.
I mean, John Terry replied to a tweet about it from a Tottenham fan account, basically saying if the players are willing to do the work, it'll work, because I was the fittest I've ever been when I played under him.
Yeah.
That's an insane kind of... I mean, I don't like the guy. He's Chelsea he hates Tottenham. But he's just absolutely out there at the moment going, Conte's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's the best. And I'm kind of like, that's mad.
Even Fabregas did it. Like ex-Chelsea and Arsenal had to say how much of a signing it is bringing in.
Yeah, what a scumbucket he is.
And he hates us, but he had to say it. He was like, you realise who you've got now, you know?
Yeah. We've had one more question. It's actually coming from Stefan. He's got a few. You ready?
Go on.
Question number 1. Why was I not invited today? Easy answer. The A-team's back. Duh. Number 2. Did the England performance show that Kane needs to be in the box more instead of falling deeper as a playmaker?
I think we'll see that. I do think we'll see him more.
Yeah.
100%.
Have you seen the clip of Conte when he was commentating or being a pundit for the Euros?
No.
Yeah, so he covered an England game, I think, for Italian television. Not the final, but I think possibly the semi-final. And they talked to him about Kane, and he was just basically did this wax lyrical of, like, probably him and Lewandowski are the best nines finishers in world football. I would build my team around creating chances for him and just say, right, I will give you the chances, you score me the goals.
And he will.
Stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't think that's going to have changed suddenly arriving to actually manage Harry Kane. I imagine the conversation is, I'll give you chances, you score. And that's it.
Do you want to, Sam, do you want to adjust your prediction, mate? Do you want to adjust your prediction while we've now brought this up?
Not even a little bit, but I will reassess at the Christmas special.
Okay.
So, yeah, Stefan, you spelt Kane wrong as well. I don't know whether that was you being silly. And number 3, is Rodon ready to step into Romero's... Okay, have you worded this deliberately? He's written, is Rodon ready to step into Romero's gap? Dude.
I mean, can he step into it?
I don't know. I mean, is Rodon ready to fill Romero's hole? Is that what he's asking? Stefan, dude, I don't know where to go with this. Stefan clearly needs to spend some time with his wife, I think. His brain is addled here, like a teenage boy subscribing to Laura's OnlyFans for the first time. Clearly his brain is elsewhere.
Yeah, bless you.
Is Rodon ready to step into the defensive shape of the team instead of Chrissy Romero? I think Rodon is. Yeah, I think he's a player who's done well. I think he's gone away with Wales. I'd have loved him to have spent some time with Conte, but we'll see. I mean, the guy is a proper defender, which Italians tend to love. The sort of defender that if he gets to the halfway line goes, nope, don't like it, nope, need to stay here. Let's wait and see. I mean, the thing is, like Matt said all the way through the show, is I'm kind of just enthusiastic. It doesn't, to me, it's like someone's injured, someone's coming in. I've not got that feeling of absolute dread of, oh no, our level's about to drop like hell, because right now it's a clean slate for me. It's like, okay, everyone's on a level playing field. The boss has come in, he's going to develop these players, he's going to coach them into a system, he's going to drill into them, micromanage them to the point that they know exactly what they're doing. whether that's good for individual players, that's another question. I'm talking about Tottenham. I want Tottenham to win things, and I have belief that he can do that, and we can definitely be a better team because of it. So whether it's Rodon or whether it's Fagan Walcott from the academy, I am on board, whoever it is, because I have belief.
Yes, absolutely.
There we go.
Completely.
I'm there.
I'm 100% with you.
I'm on the hype train.
Honestly, Sam, I am so buzzing for Sunday. I would not miss it for the world. And it's just Leeds, but good. I just can't wait to watch us and see how we can start playing under Conte,
Not going to lie as well. Leeds are a fun team to watch.
Yeah, it should be a good game. Yeah,
just as a kind of... As a neutral, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it's on Sky as well, so everyone look out for Matt when we're watching the game. He's in the south stand. Seb's going to be there?
Yep, he's 100%.
Oh, man, that's what I like. Yeah, I saw you guys made it to Stevenage.
Yeah.
To scout Troy Parrott. How did he get on?
He did all right. It was a bit of a sickener, really, because it was a FA Cup first round against MK Dons, and we've gone to the game. Literally, it was 7 o'clock in the evening. And Seb's like, is any football on? I've gone, look, Steven should play in MK Dons. He's like, can we go? And I was like, let me see if I can buy tickets online. And I could, so I bought us a couple. Yeah. But then it got to full time and it was 1-1. And I'm thinking, if we now stay for the 30 minutes extra time and potential penalties, he's not going to be home to gone 11 at night. No, so we left at full time. And they went on to win it 2-1. They got the last minute. They gave away a penalty, NK Dons, and Steven scored it. In regards to Troy Parrott, he didn't have many chances, but you can tell with players when they're just their class sort of shines through. You can see that
their touch compared to others and stuff.
Yeah, he's just in the wrong league. It's a bit like when me and Seb went to watch Spurs under 23s against the Chelsea under 23s when Andros Townsend played his last game for us, and he was just bossing the game. He just can tell that their abilities are way above
a level up.
Yes, completely. And it was the same with Troy. And I think if as long as he stays injury free, I think it's going to be a good loan move for him.
I know probably because of the convenience of it being at Stevenage. I know someone from the club was there watching that game. The thing that I think they're looking at with him, because a lot of people are like, oh, how many has he scored? I think that what they're looking at is less about that, but more just attitude and his effort. And from what I've been told, he is really putting in. When he's on the pitch, he's really putting in. That's all you can ask for in a loan, because that's just learning. But mate, that's it. That's us wrapping up this week. Big thank you to everybody for listening. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for all the kind comments regarding 150 last week. The stuff around Kids Talk is hilarious. Some of the comments on all of the kids has been brilliant. I want to say a special thank you to the guy who emails me every week to tell me what an asshole I am. You kept your run going last week. That's 150 episodes you've listened to of this show, and you hate me. So you're a special kind of guy, and I know you're going to be listening to this right now, and I know you're going to email me, and you're going to point out that I'm talking to you again. But hello, and thank you.
Should we blow him a kiss over the...
There you go. Mwah, my friend. But a big thank you to everybody else. I hope you keep enjoying the show. Get in touch, get involved. The Facebook page obviously keeps all the news up to date for everything to do with Tottenham Hotspur. So does Laura on Instagram when she's not on OnlyFans working her little butt off. I am on the Twitter page being sarcastic and generally making stupid jokes that a lot of people don't get my humour, but never mind. But check us out. There is a TikTok. I've not posted on TikTok for a couple of weeks. I probably should. But other than that, I think that's everything. I think that's enough, to be honest with you. Oh, we got a YouTube channel where you can watch and listen to the podcast at any point. Matt, can you film some stuff at the Leeds game?
Absolutely.
Perfect. There we go. We'll have a video of the Leeds game coming up as well. Until then, everybody, you take care. We'll be back soon.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.